disappointed. I started this project back in January and it is now the end of April. I have gone through 3 hair colors. I cut bangs in the middle of this video and I don't have bangs anymore. I have since kind of given up on it, but I have spent multiple weeks and probably over 24 hours filming and doing my painting that I feel like I just have to post it anyway. So, like an AO3 author, this is a disclaimer and an apology that you're not gonna see a finished product. I feel really bad. I disappeared off of this platform for how long, and I don't even do art anymore. And then I come back with this big plan to do a painting because I enjoy oil painting, and I finish 1.5. 1 2/3. It's okay. But today I'm going to be painting a scene from The Sorcerer from season 5 of Stranger Things, a still of Will and Mike, because Byler, that didn't happen. I forgot about that. I film my voiceovers every day that I worked on it, so you will get to see me lose interest in this project. You will see the light drain from my eyes, except not actually, because I don't really use my face in this video. It's just kind of the canvas. So the first thing I did was dismantle my ring light, because not that long ago I found out my projector can screw into it too, which is so cool. And I put it right where my lesbian flag used to be, but we're done with lesbianism for right now. We are yaoing it up. We put Will up there, get my canvas on the wall. I mounted this with mounting tape. At first the canvas was a little too wide, so I sized it up as much as I could, and what I couldn't, I just scribbled in whatever color was there, and I was like, I will deal with it later, which will probably be so awful to deal with, but that's okay. Then I trace it, because that's what the projector's for. The problem with my projector is it's digital, so it's all pixelated and the colors are off, but who cares? We did it, we take it down. I thought it looked a little funny because, you know, starting stages, sneak peek. Then we put the other canvas up and I replaced Will with Mike. Sorry, Will. My Spotify kept putting on sad music for some reason, and it's like really doomed yaoi. I don't know why I did that. Oh, this is me looking at my own art because I thought it looked cool on the wall and I was being egotistical. Anyway, here's me comparing like the sizes and like the composition kind of, and then tracing over Mike. And here's a time lapse that makes me look crazy because I look like I'm doing nothing. Took me way too long and it hurt my back, but we got him done too. And took the mountain tape off. Accidentally powered off my projector forgetting it was connected to my music. Little sneak peek of Mike, look how proud. And there they are. Wow, focusing on Mike, okay. And next up was the scariest part of painting of all time. I think this is called an underpainting, I don't know. But yeah, it's just turpenoid paint thinner and like oil paint, and it was like, yeah, you just gotta do an underpainting, blah 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 blah, don't ask me shit about art class. I hated my teacher, but yeah, look how good this looked with his little silhouette, and it was just kind of streaky, and it looked like a blue sky, getting a little excess off. It was whatever, but everything was going fine, you know, swiping it, and oh, what was that? Oh, it's smeared. Oh, but it's probably just the extra graphite, right? Nope, it was the whole thing. I messed up the whole thing. Always something bad gotta happen to Will Byers, swear to God. Then for Mike, I didn't have clear gesso, so I used PVA glue for my bookbinding project and a little bit of water. And I just put that on, and nope, that didn't work either. So I returned to my roots of mixing chemicals that probably shouldn't be near each other, and I used hairspray I got my freshman year of high school. Maybe even before that. I might have been in middle school. Anyway, Got To Be has been my best friend for a long time. And then I started on Mike, and actually, it was less saturated, it was awesome, and look, it didn't smear as much. Michael, you lucky son of a gun. That was a journey, but now we are on to actually doing it. Okay, next morning, let's get this blurred shit fixed. We're using the primaries and like these 2 browns that I have, and then white and black. You're not supposed to use black paint. I always got yelled at for like even thinking about it in school, but I don't care. I could not mix chromatic black, so I just mixed brown in with it to make it like not so crazy. And here we are getting started on the hair. I always block in my like big dark places first, which is usually hair. I had to speed this up. It should not have taken me this long, I feel, but I didn't want to like just goop it on, so I was just going like rather thinly, but you know what? Who cares? I got the job done in the end. Yeah, here's what I'm talking about. I just do the darkest spaces because he's got one eyebrow now. Wow. Sketch was kind of confusing because there were just like little holes. I don't remember why I put them there, and also like I said, my projector just kind of messes up the colors, so sometimes it was just not supposed to be there. Anyway, here is a little bit of like a crazily dark brown, but it looks so light compared to the straight like black that I have on there, and he looks a mess right now. Okay, look at that hair. After that, I just go like the second shade lightest from that, and I just, you know, block it in again. It looks like I'm coloring by number. And oh, looks like I did some mining off camera, guys. That is a common theme here. I cannot look down at this thing. It's so like reflective with my ring light, and also just a flat surface. Is me doing like the little wispies on his hair. His hair's not done yet, okay, but I just thought it looked fun because it was like, wow, it's got like fluffy hair, even though his hair's wet. Whatever, I had fun, I assume. It was a couple hours ago now that I'm doing this. Adding this little highlight on the side of his face. Got the yellow wrong, that's okay. Guys, you have to trust the process, okay? It looks so bad. But a little bit of a life hack for me, just don't look at the other half of it that's not done. Yeah, see that? I just sent a picture to my friend, so I just put my hand over it. I was like, wow, look how good it was, and it actually didn't look that good in real life. I also have problems with doing the other side of his face because for some reason, instead of like gradually going over and adjusting my colors that way, I just started the right half of his face entirely anew, and it was like way too saturated and orange, and I just kept messing it up real bad. But you know, mistakes happen. Whatever Bob Ross said, I don't remember. I had the same issue with the highlights not working. I changed them a few times. I don't know if it's because I looked at him too long. To me, he doesn't look like Will. He looked like Timothy Chalamet if he was less bony. But anyway, a little more mining off camera, and that was day one. There's him. He looks really freaky from upside down. I don't know what it is. The next day, I worked on his neck and his clothes and his hand, and things started to go wrong. It was a mess. The neck, I think, was okay, but the hand, I had no clue what I was doing, and I gave him a literal sausage for a finger. Like, I feel like this doesn't translate as a hand at all. The line art was just confusing me for some reason. Like, it looked fine in the sketch, but then when I actually did it, something was just off. I ended up moving the highlight bit a bit down to make his finger thinner. I have problems with the shirt because I hate painting clothes, so I try to make it go as fast as possible. And then in the middle of this, my cat stepped on my painting. Just 1 foot, and it didn't make a difference, but he had paint on her foot. I let her lay with me for a bit, and then I had to clean off her paw, and she was actually very cooperative, which is strange. Normally she attacks me. And here's some more off-camera mining because, again, I hate painting clothes, and it was just, I was annoyed. Like, I mean, you could tell he's wearing a shirt, at least. Oh, there was me. Hi, guys. Here's another highlight that's green and looks super weird, and you're like, why are you using green? But I think it works out fine. Oh, by the way, this entire process, I have not been using any safety precautions, which I should have been. I left a jar of opened paint thinner on my table in front of me the entire time and didn't once think to cover it up. My room has no ventilation. I opened the window for like 30 minutes one day and then I just closed it. And I checked my lips in the mirror today and they were blue. And I think I genuinely was having like oxygen problems. I've been having trouble breathing. Guys, ventilate when you're painting. You don't think it will hurt you, but it will. Haha, get it? Like Will Byers. Anyway, we just have to do the background on him and then we can finally move to Mike. Next day, I actually had protective gear on because, by the way, the paint thinner was open in the room that I sleep in. I slept in the room with that paint thinner open. I mixed some paint for the background, and I eventually got tired of music, so I switched to having a screen reader on my iPad read me a Viler fic through Bluetooth.
And face the strange. Embroider at Lily's summary. He recognizes the vulnerability underneath the hush.
So shout out, because that was actually a really good fic, even though it's not finished yet. I wish I had the audio, because I was recording in a time lapse. but I was acting like that shit was like a TV show or something. I was just talking aloud to myself like, oh my god, he did this. It's like, yeah, babe. I had a lot of problems with the background, specifically color matching in a way that didn't make Will look weird, which I will say he looks so much better in real life than he does on camera. It's not doing him justice. But the background's turning out too saturated, and I don't know what the hell I had going on with the fire. At some point after this day, I just left it and I was like, I will do it again later. I'll go over it when it dries, you know, a month from now. That was the end of that day. Day 5 was actually just 2 days because I barely worked on it, and then I would leave it for like a day or two and come back later because I really did not want to work on this. I changed up the fire a bit. I still don't know if it's the greatest. I think it's a slight improvement. I do miss the saturation, but I feel like it throws Will out of whack. It makes him look kind of dead. Hashtag zombie boy. I also ended up slightly changing a lot of things on the other side, mainly because I felt like I kept making everything too light without realizing it. Because at this point, I was less using my reference for, like, actually figuring out individual colors and more like, it's like a brown. I dreaded doing this half of it because it's so... I can't really say complicated because it literally is just a bunch of blocks of color, but that's what makes it complicated. It was just very subtle shifts of color that I couldn't get to look right, and I kept changing it, so it would be wet and then it wouldn't go on the way it was supposed to. Oh my god. Here's me undoing everything I already just did on that huge piece because I was like, it's like too light. And I think I used that same color and go over a few other things or slightly change it. Dude, I don't even know. I worked on this for so long and you can't even tell because I do like nothing. But I got it done. It's kind of blurry. It looks good, right? Then it was time to paint the edges because I refused to do that before for some reason, mainly because I had to pick it up all the time. So here's this clip of me sitting in the corner of my room looking all awkward with the bangs I impulsively cut a couple days before. I hate how reflective the paint is because it's wet, but one thing I will say is it actually dried way faster than it should. Here you can see me closely inspecting and sniffing like a damn dog to find places that I might have missed a little bit of paint on, and I dragged my hair right through it. Granted, it had been a few days, but I think it dried super fast because my paint is so old. But here's how I felt after completing that painting. And here's me showing it off. I will get a better angle on this later, but this is kind of like a size comparison to me as well. Dude's like the size of my upper half. It's kind of crazy, actually. I haven't really painted that big in a long time. And nothing this good. I'm gonna be a little egotistical. I do like this now that I wasn't staring at it for like 20 hours straight and I let it rest for a little bit. Here, you know what? I'll shut up. You can have some music. I should not have done this video. I have to do another one. A whole nother one that's even more complicated. I allowed myself a week off before I started mic because otherwise I would have just had an aneurysm or something. And I actually ignored my own deadlines that I set for myself and did longer than a week because I really did not want to start this. I was so scared. And of course, by the time a week was over, all my paint had dried. You can see me hesitating to even start because I was so nervous. I start the same way I did with Will, with blocking in the darkest color, which I think this black that I made is darker than the other one. I'm sure it's fine. I think Mike's picture, like, the darkest parts are darker for some reason. I try to record more normal videos instead of time lapses because I thought that's kind of like how the aesthetic people do it with clipping it together. Let me know. Part of the reason I was really nervous to do this is because I was scared at how it would compare to Will. Not in the, oh, Will will end up looking better kind of way, but like the colors, like will it look like it's the same setting? And since I record these every day and not do it when I'm completely done with it, I can't tell you the answer to that. So we're gonna find out together. I will say, maybe as a bit of a spoiler, I feel like Mike's picture is so much darker than Will's is, which isn't supposed to be the case because I feel like he's in more light because the fire is behind Will but in front of Mike. But look at his eye right now. That is just like a mass of darkness. It's like when people thought that Will was gonna lose his eye before, you know, the Duffer Brothers sucked at writing. It didn't even write anything cool happening at all. Mainly from the reflections, see, it looks fine when it's upright, and then it's a little weird looking when you put it down. It kind of all blends together. Oh yeah, something fun that happened on this day. My phone died, so accidental mining off camera, but this was kind of what I got done today because I am done. I wanna go to bed. The footage for this day looks really weird because I tried editing like the saturation levels so it wasn't so shiny, and it didn't work out. He looks burnt. This is another instance of me looking absolutely crazy because I'm working on the lips for so long and you cannot see like anything change. Lips are genuinely like my worst nightmare. I messed them up so bad on Will, and I think part of that is because of the color difference and the pixels on my projector. I made his lips crooked and it wasn't something I realized until I started painting, and then I was like, what the hell is that? I actually worked for quite a bit of time this day, which is so rare for me because I love to work on it for like an hour and then leave it for a week now. But I've been kind of keeping track of the amount of time that I spend on it, and I think this day was like 5 or 6 hours or something. Not bad. I just wanted to get his face done because the paint was drying so fast. I did that one half of his face, and then all my paint was completely dried by the next day, and I had to remake all of it again. I feel like I had a different approach with Mike than I did with Will because it looks semi-less color by number than Will did, but maybe it's just the colors. I don't know. I don't paint enough to actually know what process I like to do. I just do whatever I want. I did a little bit of mining off camera with his neck, so that's just what this clip is. And then I finished up the other side of his face pretty fast. I don't worry about the hue shifts like I should. And then I move on to the eye, which is scary. It was not turning out right in the beginning stages, and I feel like that's also a thing with my projector. And you can see here, flash warning, that I had to keep picking up my canvas to try and get it to look the way I wanted. And it worked. I put this like highlight with like extra paint kind of texture that I liked, which I also did on Will a little bit, but Will kind of ugly, I'm sorry. Painting the blood on the side of his face was so fun. I'm a big blood lover. My self-portrait that I had to do for my painting class in high school, I did a picture of me covered in blood. Kind of crazy to see how far I've come since then, considering that was my first like actual oil painting ever. And I do kind of want to redo that because I still have the original reference image that I used. Maybe I will. Mike's hair was scary because there was a lot going on. His hair had shadows underneath it that I couldn't like get to differentiate, but we finished it. I let another week or two pass between that last one and this day because, to be completely honest with you guys, my life kind of started going to shit a little bit. I was not doing good. And I hate painting clothes. I hate painting clothes. I hate drawing clothes. I hate clothes. When I painted Will's, I kind of just did whatever I wanted and just smeared like highlights and shadows where I thought maybe they could be. But with Mike, I did pay a little more attention to where they actually were. And I will say I actually do like how his jacket and stuff turned out, especially considering this is like my, fourth painting of actually painting clothes. And honestly, the self-portrait doesn't count. I didn't do anything with that damn tank top. Honestly, I should not have started keeping track of how long it's taking me because I worked on this for, I think, 3 separate days so far, and it's 11 and a half hours. I'd rather be time blind. That is crazy. That's just insane to me. Like, I can't just be, oh, I worked on it for a week. No, it's 12 hours already, and we're not even done. And I still have to do the background, which I am so scared for because it's a lot more complicated than Will's was. I think that it'll be easier to not have everything super duper blurred like Will's was, but there's a lot of detail going on here, so let's do that now. I died for months, so I had to remake all of my paint again. And I actually spent money on buying new paint because this one was like straight solid, but it's like the same price, but there's less paint in it. Plus the packaging is also stupider and I don't like it. So fuck you to this brand, fuck you Hobby Lobby. But shout out Master's Touch. I do like their oil paint. It's the only oil paint I've ever tried. I was stupid to think that I could do this background in one day because I am so sick and tired of doing these fucking paintings. And on top of that, I'm just a procrastinator and I'm not even really into Stranger Things anymore. This season was so bad. It couldn't even keep my attention. I was in it with the fandom for a bit and I fell out so fast. But you know what? That's okay with me. I love being in my Marvel phase. Hey, why are you talking shit about Stranger Things if you're a Marvel fan? Whoa! Guys, come on. I sped up the time lapses. I doubled the speed on these things and I still am going so slow. I can't believe how slow I worked on this. And I was trying to hurry it up too. Like, I don't want to work on this anymore. I'm trying to get it done. And I haven't been checking my colors a lot, but I think it's turning out okay. I didn't like this one. After I finished it and I started Mike, I think Mike's looks a lot better, which is really sad because I didn't finish him. And Michael's. Rest in peace, poor Michael. I could have finished you, but I didn't. And I will be blaming the Duffer Brothers for that. Not a fault of mine, not my procrastination, not my fear of commitment. It is the Duffer Brothers for making the worst season of a show I've ever seen. Again, I'm so sorry that this video is over 20 minutes long and you don't even get to see Mike be finished. If for whatever reason I end up picking it up again and finishing it, I don't know, maybe I can edit this video or re-upload it or something, but as of now, fuck Stranger Things, that show sucked. I'm gonna go write yaoi. Bye.